What is up, everyone? Corn O'Keefe back yet again, and as the title implies, I'm bringing in O'Keefe's Q&A part 20. So without further ado, let's get right to the questions. These first questions come from Joe2099 Sheba. Question number 1 from Joe2099 Sheba. What do you think about Shiba Inus? I would say decently intriguing, to say the least. Now, question number 2. Do you still miss Diphonoid as much as I do when he left the Versus community? Honestly, it was sad to see him leave, and it's weird that he deleted his entire channel, essentially. Well, all of his videos, but definitely sad to see him leave when he did. But at this point in time, I have gotten used to it, but it would be kind of cool to see him make a return at some point in the future. Question number 3. What are your thoughts on Death Battle, Miles Morales versus Static Shock? Honestly, the episode itself turned out a lot better than I was expecting. Sure, I may disagree with a couple things, but overall, they did much better than I was expecting them to do. Now, moving on to the 4th and final question. Who would win, Virgil from Devil May Cry or Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho? Well, it really depends on which form of scaling you see as being more consistent. I could see Virgil taking it more often than not, but I can definitely see some good arguments being made for Hiei taking victory as well. Hope this answers your questions. Now folks, let's move right on down the line. These next questions are coming from Mega Meta. Question number 1 from Mega Meta. The first question is, what is your favorite Versus show? Well, at least at this moment in time, I would probably have to edge out with Rewind Rumble more often than not. Now, question number 2. What fight is better on your channel, Silver Surfer versus Cell or Frozone versus Mr. Freeze? Well, even though the Silver Surfer versus Cell is a little more outdated compared to Frozone versus Mr. Freeze, I would actually have to say Silver Surfer versus Cell is still a little bit better overall. Now, the third and final question. The third and final question is, what is the best Versus idea that you've got? Heck, that's a tough call. I really couldn't say off the top of my head, as all of you give me a lot of really unique and interesting ideas. Hope this answers your questions. Now folks, let's go ahead and move right on down the line. These next questions are coming from The Blacker. Question number 1 from The Blacker. What is your favorite video game song? Honestly, I really couldn't say off the top of my head, because there's a lot that I find to be very fascinating, and I like a lot of them, to be honest with you. Now, question number 2. What is your favorite type of video games? Heck, I would have to actually say RPG. Now, question number 3. Who's your favorite female villain? Well, at this moment in time, I would definitely have to say Harley Quinn herself, aka my future ex-wife. Now, question number 4. What's your favorite mythology? Easily Greek mythology all day long. Greek mythology. Now, question number 5. Kurumi Tokasaki versus Mundus. And from the looks of it, it seems like you're giving them everything. Well, in that case, again, I really can't give you a straight answer off the top of my head, but that is a matchup I would like to dig deeper into and do more research on. Who knows, that may be a future Versus battle on the channel. Now, the final question. Gabremelek versus Odin. Well, it honestly depends on which form of scaling you view to be the most consistent and reasonable. That's also another matchup that I would like to look deeper into and do more research on at some point in the future. Hope this answers your questions. Now folks, let's move right on down the line. These final questions are coming from William Alvarado. Question number 1 from William Alvarado. What is the name of your other channel so I can check it out? The name of my other channel is called The Island of Verity. The Island of Verity. And I'll probably leave a link to that in the description below so you can check it out if you want to. Now, the second question. How do you feel about some of your death battle predictions being wrong, like Miles versus Static and Sasuke versus Hiei? I mean, I'm fine with guessing wrong, sure. There's nothing wrong with that at all. However, I do still feel like I provided some good evidence on each character nonetheless, but I am okay with guessing wrong for their show, sure. Now, moving on to the third question from William Alvarado. Do you watch Steven Universe? Honestly, not that much, but ironically, I do know a lot about it because I have a little sister who watches the heck out of Steven Universe, and she tells me all about it all the time. And I actually plan on using some Steven Universe characters on the channel in some versus battles in the near future as well. Now, the fourth and final question. Who would win, Katara versus Lapis Lazuli? To be honest, that's an interesting fight, but I would have to give it to Lapis more often than not. Hope this answers your questions, William Alvarado. And folks, this is the conclusion of O'Keefe's Q&A Part 20. Hope you enjoyed it for what it actually was, and if you did not hear your questions get answered in Part 20, they will get answered in Part 21. As always, have a blessed day, folks. Peace.